Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I am here to make you confident. My goal is to help you realize who you are and what you can achieve. This video is about a person whose name is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I know you know him. Obviously, he is one of the most famous and richest people in the world. You have seen him in movies like Fast and Furious, Jumanji, Black Adam, and many more. But do you know why he is so famous? Do you know his struggles? Do you know the pain he went through to reach this level of success? No, right? In this video, I will tell you everything about his life, his struggles, his failures, his pain, and how he turned his life around. This story will 100% motivate you to achieve your own goals. And as a bonus, this video is also perfect for your English listening and speaking practice. So, let's begin of his journey. The story of a man who turned his pain into power. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born on May 2, 1972, in Hayward, California, USA. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a professional wrestler. His mother, Ada Johnson, was the daughter of a famous Samoan wrestler. People think he was born rich because of his father. But the truth is, his childhood was full of struggles and hardships. When Dwayne was a child, his family had no money, no stability, and no home of their own. His father's wrestling career was not making enough money. They had to move from place to place, struggling to survive. Imagine this. One day he comes home and sees that his family has been evicted from their house because they couldn't pay rent. At just 14 years old, he watches his mother cry because they have nowhere to live. Sometimes they didn't have enough money for food. Because of poverty, young Dwayne became angry and frustrated. He got into fights in school. He started stealing to survive. He was arrested multiple times as a teenager. At just 15 years old, he was heading towards a dangerous life, one that could have destroyed his future. But one day, something changed his life forever. One day, after another arrest, Dwayne looked at himself in the mirror. He saw a failure. He saw a boy going nowhere in life. He saw pain in his mother's eyes every day. And then he made a powerful decision. I will change my life. I will work harder than ever before. I will become great. And from that day, everything changed. He started focusing on his body and fitness. He trained every single day, pushing himself harder than ever. He stopped hanging out with the wrong people. He found a new goal, becoming a professional football player. But his struggles were far from over. Dwayne worked extremely hard and became a great football player. He got a scholarship to play football at the University of Miami, one of the best football teams in the USA. For the first time in his life, he thought his struggles were over. He dreamed of playing in the NFL, National Football League, becoming a millionaire, and giving his family a better life. But then, disaster struck. He suffered a serious injury that ended his football career. He was kicked off the team and lost his dream. His hopes of becoming an NFL superstar were destroyed. At 23 years old, Dwayne was completely broke. He had no money. He had no job. He had to move back to his parents' small apartment. He was so poor that he only had $7 in his bank account. Imagine this. One day, you believe your life is about to change forever, and the next day, everything is gone. Would you give up? Most people would. But Dwayne Johnson did not. Dwayne sat in his small, dark room, staring at the $7 in his hand. His dream of becoming a football star was over. He had no job, no direction, and worst of all, he saw disappointment in his mother's eyes every single day. He had always dreamed of giving her a better life, but now he couldn't even afford to buy himself a meal. For days, he stayed in that room, feeling lost. His father tried to encourage him, telling him that life was hard, but he had to find a way. But Dwayne didn't know what to do. He was just 23 years old, broke, and completely lost. One morning, his father walked into his room and said, "Get up. Let's train." Dwayne didn't feel like it. He had no motivation. He had lost everything. But something inside him told him to get up. He went to the gym with his father, and for the first time in weeks, he felt alive again. The pain of lifting weights, the sweat, the burning in his muscles, it reminded him of who he was. He had been an athlete, a fighter, and he wasn't going to stay down forever. After weeks of training, he made a decision. If football wasn't an option, he would try something else. His father was a professional wrestler, and though Dwayne had never planned on following in his footsteps, he had nothing to lose. He told his father, "I want to try wrestling." His father was shocked. He knew how tough the wrestling business was. It wasn't just about strength. It was about charisma, entertainment, and years of struggle. It wasn't easy. But when he saw the fire in Dwayne's eyes, he agreed to train him. The training was brutal. His father was hard on him, pushing him beyond his limits. He made Dwayne wake up early, train for hours, and perfect every move. There were no shortcuts. There were days when Dwayne's body was covered in bruises, days when he felt like quitting. But he reminded himself of one thing: he had nothing else. If he failed at this, he had nowhere to go. After months of intense training, he was ready for his first match. But there was a problem. Nobody wanted to hire him. Wrestling promotions told him he was too big, too muscular, that he didn't have the right look. He went from city to city, looking for a chance, but every door was slammed in his face. He didn't give up. He finally got a small opportunity to wrestle at a local event. It wasn't the big leagues, it wasn't what he had dreamed of, but it was something. When he stepped into the ring, he knew this was his chance to prove himself. He won the match, but it didn't matter. Nobody cheered. The audience didn't connect with him. Wrestling was more than just fighting. It was about entertaining people, about creating a persona, and Dwayne didn't have that yet. For months, he wrestled in small matches, earning almost nothing. He traveled from town to town, sleeping in cheap motels, sometimes even in his car. He ate whatever he could afford, often just a can of tuna and some rice. He was struggling. One day he got a chance to join WWE, the biggest wrestling organization in the world. But there was a problem. They wanted to give him a character named Rocky Maivia, a smiling, friendly wrestler who the audience was supposed to love. But the audience hated him. Every time he entered the ring, people booed him. They didn't want a friendly, smiling wrestler. They wanted someone real. Dwayne felt humiliated. He had worked so hard, and now people were rejecting him. That night, after a match where the entire stadium booed him, he sat alone in his hotel room. He could feel that pain again, the same pain he had felt when he lost football. Failure, rejection, doubt. But this time, he made a different choice. Instead of quitting, he reinvented himself. He told the WWE, "Let me be myself." And that's when The Rock was born. The next time he stepped into the ring, he wasn't Rocky Maivia. He wasn't trying to be the person people wanted him to be. He was himself, confident, strong, and full of attitude. He looked at the audience and said, "Finally, The Rock has come back." His energy was electric. His confidence was unshakable, and the audience loved it. Over the next few years, The Rock became one of the biggest stars in WWE history. He won championships, had legendary rivalries, and became one of the most entertaining wrestlers of all time. People started chanting his name. The same people who once booed him were now his biggest fans. But The Rock wasn't satisfied. He had achieved success in wrestling, but he wanted more. He wanted to be the biggest entertainer in the world. So he made a decision that nobody expected. He left wrestling and went to Hollywood. People laughed at him. They said, "You're a wrestler, not an actor. You will fail." Even when he got his first movie roles, they were small and unimportant. Nobody took him seriously. Once again, The Rock had to start from the bottom. He wasn't given big roles. He had to prove himself, just like he did in wrestling. And he did. He worked harder than anyone. He trained, he learned, he improved. He took every role, no matter how small, and gave it everything he had. And slowly, Hollywood started noticing him. His breakthrough came with movies like The Scorpion King and Fast and Furious. People saw something special in him. His charisma, his presence, his work ethic. He wasn't just a wrestler anymore. Over the years, The Rock became the highest-paid actor in Hollywood. He starred in blockbuster films, built businesses, and became one of the most influential people in the world. But through it all, he never forgot where he came from. He never forgot the days when he had only $7 in his pocket. He teaches us that no matter how many times you fail, you can always rise again. The boy who once had nothing, no home, no money, no direction, became one of the most successful people in the world because he never gave up. Dwayne had achieved what many could only dream of. But behind all the success, behind the fame, there was something much more important to him, his family. Dwayne's journey wasn't just about money or fame, it was about love, relationships, and responsibility. In 1997, when he was still struggling in his wrestling career, he married his college sweetheart, Dany Garcia. She had been with him long before he became famous, supporting him through the hardest times. They shared a deep bond, and together they had a daughter, Simone Alexandra Johnson, who was born in 2001. Dwayne loved his daughter more than anything. She was his world. No matter how busy he was, no matter how much he traveled, he always made time for her. He wanted to be the kind of father he wished he had growing up. But life wasn't always perfect. As time passed, Dwayne and Dany realized that their relationship wasn't working as a marriage. They loved and respected each other, but they were growing apart. In 2008, after 11 years of marriage, they decided to get a divorce. For many people, divorce is painful and bitter, but Dwayne and Dany handled it differently. They remained best friends. Instead of fighting, they supported each other. In fact, Dany continued to manage Dwayne's career, helping him build his empire. They both knew that their daughter needed a strong, loving family, and they promised to give her that no matter what. Years later, Dwayne found love again with Lauren Hashian, a singer and musician. She wasn't a celebrity like him, but she had a kind heart and supported him in every way. They had a deep connection, built on love, trust, and respect. In 2015, they welcomed their first daughter together, Jasmine Johnson, and in 2018, their second daughter, Tiana Gia Johnson. For Dwayne, his daughters were the most precious part of his life. He wasn't just a superstar, he was a father first. He would wake up early to make breakfast for them, play with them, and sing to them before bed. In 2019, after being together for many years, Dwayne and Lauren finally got married in a beautiful ceremony in Hawaii. It was a moment of pure happiness for him. Even with all the success, Dwayne never slowed down. He wasn't the type of person to sit back and relax. Every morning he woke up before the sun, went to the gym, and pushed himself harder than anyone, because he remembered where he came from. He remembered the nights when he had no money, He remembered the pain of failure. He remembered the people who doubted him, and he used all of it as fuel. He believed in one simple rule: outwork everyone. While others were sleeping, he was training. While others were resting, he was learning. While others were celebrating, he was planning his next move. That's how he became the highest paid actor in the world, not because he was lucky, but because he worked harder than anyone. But for him, success wasn't just about making movies. It was about inspiring people. Despite his wealth and fame, Dwayne never forgot to give back. He built the Rock Foundation, a charity that helps children facing hardships. He donated millions of dollars to schools, hospitals, and people in need. He surprised struggling families by paying off their debts, buying them homes, and giving them hope. One of the most powerful moments was when he gifted his old friend Bruno a brand new truck. Bruno had given him a place to stay when he was struggling, and years later, Dwayne never forgot his kindness. This is what makes him different. He never lets success change his heart. He teaches us that no matter how successful you become, never forget where you came from and always help others. Dwayne Johnson didn't never depend on just one source of income. He knew that if he wanted true success, he had to build something bigger than himself. And that's exactly what he did. When Dwayne started acting, he wasn't the highest paid star. In fact, many directors didn't believe he could succeed in Hollywood. But just like wrestling, just like football, he proved everyone wrong. Today, Dwayne Johnson is the highest paid actor in the world. For some of his movies, he gets paid more than $20 million per film. And not just that, he also earns money from producing his own movies. He started his own production company, $7 Productions. This company makes blockbuster movies that dominate the box office. Why did he name it $7? Because it's a reminder of the time when he only had $7 in his pocket. He never wants to forget where he started. Dwayne is not just a movie star, he is a global icon. On Instagram alone, he has more than 400 million followers. That makes him one of the most followed people in the world. Why do people love him so much? Because he is real. Because he motivates people. Because he connects with his fans. Whenever he shares a post, millions of people get inspired. And companies know this. That's why brands are ready to pay him millions of dollars just to promote their products. One Instagram post from The Rock can earn him up to $1 million. That's the power of hard work. Dwayne didn't just stop at movies and social media. He became a businessman. He started his own tequila brand, Terramana Tequila, which became a huge success. It sold millions of bottles and made him hundreds of millions of dollars. He also created Zoa Energy, a healthy energy drink, and he partnered with Under Armour to launch Project Rock, a fitness brand that sells shoes, clothes, and workout gear. It became a massive success worldwide. Dwayne Johnson is not just an actor, he is an empire. So after all this success, how much is he worth today? Dwayne Johnson's total net worth is estimated to be over $800 million. From struggling with no money to almost becoming a billionaire, this is what unstoppable hard work looks like. Dwayne Johnson is not just a businessman or an actor. He is a motivator. In every speech, he reminds people that success is not about luck. It's about grit, discipline, and never giving up. Some of his most powerful quotes: "Success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than before. It adds up. Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room." Don't just dream about success, work for it. When life puts you in tough situations, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." These words are not just quotes. They are his truth. So what can we learn from Dwayne Johnson's life? What can you do to become successful? Here is the truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to give you success. You have to work for it. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter if people doubt you. What matters is what you do every single day. Dwayne Johnson didn't wait for opportunities. He created them. And that's what you must do. Wake up early. Work harder than anyone else. Believe in yourself when no one else does. Never complain. Never give up. And one day, the world will know your name, because your story is not over yet. Dwayne Johnson went from having $7 in his pocket to becoming one of the most successful and respected people in the world. And if he can do it, so can you. The only question is, are you ready to become the hero of your own life?